Salvete omnes. Welcome back to the AP Latin live stream on YouTube. We're so excited to have you with us here on this Friday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. We appreciate you joining us. My name is Jenny Luongo. I teach at St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Austin, Texas, and I'm joined every day by my friend.
That way, Jenny. I'm Ben Johnson, and I teach at a public school in Maine called Hamden Academy. It's in Hamden, Maine. So we're happy to be here on a Friday, Dies Veneris. Is that right?
It's a benedictum.
So we are going to be talking about the end of book 6. We've made it to the end of the book 6 chapters. Right.
Yucca.
We're going to
Hooray, we did it.
celebrate by taking a couple of days off.
Yes.
Chapter 20 is about the interesting topic of rumor in Gallic society and how it relates to the state and decisions that magistrates have to make. And we're going to be focusing for a skill on supporting an argument using relevant evidence from Latin texts and readings. We assume that you've already read through book 6, chapters 13 through 19 of the Gallic War. We've been covering this for the last 7 of these. This is number 8 for us. And maybe you've also read parts of the Gallic War, maybe in your classroom or on your own too. We're going to work with the exam practice, the homework, the learning opportunity, as we like to call it, from the last live stream, which was over 619. It was a bit of a find evidence in this passage. And then we also are going to look at 620 and work with comprehension on that. And then the trouble with rumors, and notice I capitalize the R there because, well, in some of the situations, we'll see that rumor can be personified. And when you personify rumor, you capitalize the F for the R.
Yeah, especially I think when if you look at Virgil's Aeneid, book 4, rumor gets personified, and it's such a great selection. It's no longer officially on what will be tested this year, but it's one of those things that we're still going to cover some because it's so important to know about. So you can always find all of our links and resources for these lessons at our AP Latin YouTube student resources folder, which is linked at bit.ly/AP Latin YouTube. As we get ready for the lesson today, you'll want to have out a way to record your thoughts and to jot down answers to the questions we will pose. You might want to have out your materials for class, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about those materials, I think, today when we talk about what the AP exam is going to be like this year. But you'll want to have those out. And then also you might want to have out the closed translation that we have put in the resource folder. You want to kind of through the passage. All right. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking a lot today about rumors or fama, and we're going to give a shout out to Virgil, as a lot of the vocabulary for what we're about to say is pulled from that section on Virgil, book 4. Ben, est fama de examinibus a pe, quae per magnas urbes Americae it.
Per magnas urbes Americae?
Per magnas urbes Americae. So I just told Ben that there's a rumor, quae it, which is going per magnas urbes through the great cities Americae of America.
And countryside too. I mean, you can't forget the small towns out there, right?
Yeah. Virgil didn't mention that at all, though.
Jenny, esto diligens. Non ullum aliud malum velocius est fama, adquirit vires eundo. So Jenny, be careful, right? Esto diligens. There's that nice little future imperative, right, of esto. Yeah, non ullum aliud malum, though no other evil. Est velocius is swifter, and you notice that's an ius. It's a neuter comparative adjective, and then we have an ablative of comparison, fama, then rumor with a capital R. Adquirit, she gains vire strength, not men, strength. Eundo, by going. That's a what is that? That's one of those pesky ones. Is it a gerund or a gerundive?
Oh, gerund, there's only one ablative,
Okay.
nothing modifying it. I got that. Ben, I was just thinking, in addition to this compelling conversation we're having,
which is definitely not scripted. Yep.
which is definitely not scripted. Gosh, this vocabulary and this whole conversation is going to be so helpful when they're doing tonight's learning opportunity.
Oh yeah.
So, just
Okay.
hint, hint, kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Just keep playing this back on repeat.
Exactly.
Est monstro rendingens, qui quod linguae sunt, totidem ora sonant, tot subrigit aures. She is a monstro ringens. She's a huge, horrible monster. This is complicated. Qui, for whom, quote, linguae sunt, however many tongues there are so many mouths that make sounds. This is one of those correlatives where we've got a correlation going on between the tongues and the mouths, and tot so many ears that she pricks up, subrigit. Virgil does a nice job of varying up the construction with this. It's actually like one of those where he gets you in a pattern and then he switches it on you right at the end. So be careful, right? She's nasty, brutal monster. I mean, if you draw a picture of her, it's you can't even mirabile dictu, right? It's amazing to say.
Yeah, mirabile. Minime, Ben. Haec fama est bona. A good rumor?
Fama potest esse bona? Rumor can be good? Tibi non credo. I don't credo. I don't believe, Tibi. I don't give my trust to you. Fama est tam tenax nuntia ficti quam veri. Facta quin fecta canebat. Rumor is so tenacious a messenger of ficti, of fiction, and as she is of truth, right? Facta quin fecta. That's a great, that's a great 3 words right there, especially when you do the elision, right?
Yes, so good.
She was singing, just like a poet was singing, about facta, deeds, and infecta, and not deeds, not deeds and lies.
Yeah, my students have started translating that section. She was singing about news and fake news.
There you go.
Ben, minime, haec fama est vera.
Okay.
Non sola bona, not only good, said vera, but it's a true rumor that we're going to talk about. Non falsa, vera. All right. So the rumor that we're going to talk about is the announcement that happened today about the AP Latin exam. We want to make sure that you guys are all aware of what's going on with this year's exam. That'll be happening in May and June. So the first exam date that you will be able to use for the AP Latin exam is Tuesday, May 12th. Everybody will take it at the same time, no matter your time zone. So we're going to take it at noon Eastern, which means 11 a.m. Central, and you can calculate from there. Or if that exam date doesn't work for you, the other exam date will be June 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central. Calculate out from there. The format, it was already announced that it was going to be a 45-minute exam that you can take at home or at your school if it has reopened. So the test is going to cover the Latin from Aeneid books 1 and 2 with the English readings of those books, and it's going to cover the Latin from De Bello Gallico books 1, 4, and 6. That's one reason we've been doing 6 this week, is we figured that there might be some people who had not yet covered it with their classes. And then you're responsible for the English readings from book 1. The first part of the exam is going to be 25 minutes long. It's going to be worth 70% of your score, and it's going to have short answer response questions. One passage will be from the Virgil syllabus. One passage will be from the Caesar syllabus. And these are modeled on the FRQs that you've been studying probably all year with your teacher, FRQs 4 and 5. So those short answer FRQs. Part 2 is going to be 30% of the exam, and it will last 15 minutes. And those are short answer response questions that will be a cite passage, so not something that is from the Latin that you read on the syllabus, a cite passage from the works of Virgil. It also will be modeled on FRQ 4 and 5, so the short answer sometimes teachers who have taught for a long time call them the spot questions, because that's what we used to call them. So that test is going to be an open book exam. You may use your translations. You may use your dictionary resource. We were talking about having out your textbook commentary and your notebooks for our lessons. You'll also be able to have them out for the exam. And if you want more information about the AP exams this year, here is the link to where you can get AP coronavirus updates for educators in particular, but all of the information about the exam there is for students. So we know that some of you may not be in contact with your teachers regularly at this point. So if you need to go there for information, you can find it.
Okay. So yesterday we had a nice little homework opportunity, a learning opportunity for homework. And we gave you this passage from the Aeneid, book 1, 378 to 385. And we wanted you to see what you could figure out from here. What things does Aeneas tell about himself? Try to find at least 6 things, make sure they're from throughout the passage, so like beginning, middle, and end, and then quote the Latin that gives you the answer, and then translate. And remember that quotes with multiple words are far better than single word references. We'll come back to that again at the end of this. It's, for the most part, everything from this is something that Aeneas says about himself. So instead of like bolding everything and so forth, we just kind of wrote down like the different things that he says. So he says he is Pius Aeneas, sum pius Aeneas. I'm carrying the captured Penates, Weho raptos Penates, the Penates that he's captured, he snatched ex hoste from the enemy. He's famous. He is known fama with his fame. And there's that fama again, above the upper air. He's super famous. And I seek Italy to be my homeland from Jupiter. And I seek a race from Jupiter. So that ab Ioe sumo kind of, in my opinion, goes with both of those. It's really kind of Jupiter who's giving him that lead and so forth. I set sail on the Trojan Sea, the Phrygium Ichor, with 20 ships. Now, if you know anything about the Aeneid, he goes through a whole big ordeal. Sometimes he leaves people in different places. He actually loses a ship, and he doesn't bring all 20 ships with him. And even in book 1, he loses 12 of his ships, and they arrive in Africa in a different place, and he only has 7 ships at one point. My mother, a goddess, that would be Venus, which is today's date, right? Today is Aeneas's mom's day.
Yeah.
Okay, showed me the way.
Veneris.
I follow the fates as they were given to me. That is the data fata secutus. 7 ships remain. Week septem. My fleet has been shattered by the waves in the east wind. That's the convulsi undis eroque. I don't know where I am. Ipse ignotus. I'm needy. Agains. I'm wandering the deserts of Libya. Libyae deserta peagro. And then I've been driven from Europe and Asia. Europa qua Asia pulsus. So if you had 6 of those, hopefully from the beginning, middle, and end, then you did a great job. Perfect score.
Hundreds all around again.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to head on into today's final paragraph that we're responsible for from De Bello Gallico, book 6, number 20. And as we mentioned, it also, like our discussion at the beginning, is all about rumor. So our Roganda that we'll start with and give you some time to think about is number 1, what is the form of administrare in line 1? We put it in orange for you. And we want you to think about why it's that form. Hint, hint, it is something that we've been talking about this week. Number 2, translate si quis quid acceperit from lines 2 and 3. And again, we've put those in orange for you. Number 3, what type of clause is uti all the way down to communicat? There are really 2 clauses there. Some of you may realize as you look at it, but they're the same kind of clause. So don't fret.
The use of the subjunctive, right?
Yes, a use of the subjunctive. one that we've talked about, though maybe not as much as we've talked about some others, but it's good for us to get other uses of the subjunctive in for us to chat about. And then number 4, what does Caesar say Gauls are supposed to do if they hear something about the state? And so the words for about the state, so you kind of know where to look, are de re publica. All right, so a few awkward seconds of pausing for you guys to think and write. All right, so administrare, administro, administrare is the verb. And so when we ask for form, if it's a noun, we're probably asking for things like case number, gender. If it's a verb form, we're probably asking for things like the tense, whether it's active or passive. And then here, what kind of verbal it is. So a verbal is a type of thing formed from a verb. So here we're looking at the present active infinitive. Sometimes it's known as the second principal part. And the clue to why we're dealing with an infinitive is in that verb existimantur. So those states, civitates, who, quae, existimantur, are thought. So they're thought to administer suam rem publicam, their government, commodious, more satisfactorily, something like that. This is an indirect statement. Or you can also say are thought that they administer their republic. Is that what you wanted me to say, Ben? Were you gonna say something else?
Yeah, no, just trying to see if we can work it into something that makes it kind of
sound more indirect statement-y. Yeah. So you can definitely do that as well.
The one thing about this idea around form and stuff, sometimes my own students are like, well, I don't know precisely like what these terms mean. Maybe it's like what's voice, what's mood and stuff. Sometimes you just think about like, well, what do you know about that word, right? What is kind of the more obvious thing about it that kind of makes it a little strange? And if you're like, well, I know that it's an imperative, which is one of those, that's a mood. You might not know that that imperative is a mood, but you know that a word is an imperative. Well, I mean, that's probably what's being asked. So
definitely. Yeah. All right, so next, those states, habent, they have it kind of encoded, sanctified in legibus, in their laws, that see, if quis, anyone, remember after C, nisi, nu, and ne, all the alle seca hike. So if anyone
holiday
has received caperet, or will have received, nope, has received, sorry, it's perfect tense, quid, anything, de republica, about the republic, rumore, by means of a rumor, aut fama, or by a report. Okay, so it's sanctified for them, uti, to do something. The uti through communicat, uti through deferat, and ne through communicat, those are 2 indirect commands. So what does Caesar say the Gauls are supposed to do? They should, deferat, bring it ad magistratum, to a magistrate, to a public official. Neve, and they should not communicate. They should not share it. Remember that verb we were talking about with sharing money. They should not share it cum quo alia, with anyone else. So after C, nisi, numen, ne, that ne also makes the alian quo drop away. All right.
Yeah, this is right. This is the C here is a condition, right? Which is one of the reasons why a caperet is in the subjunctive in the indirect statement.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Right. Lots of layers to this onion. Okay, so talking about false rumors. Okay, you can see that falsis rumoribus there towards the end of the first line. The Roganda, to get you to think about these 2 lines here, what adjectives does Caesar use to describe the Gallic people, the homines, and what do they mean really? And then how does Caesar suggest false rumors affect people? Just 2 questions, so only a little bit of wait time. So he calls
Yeah, we're
them,
good.
yeah, he calls them temerarios atque imperitos. He calls them rash and ignorant. This quad here at the beginning of this phrase, like quad can mean which sometimes, other times we can translate it as because. I think because is great here, because often men, it cognitum est, it's known that men rash and ignorant, right, are terrified, terreri, going on to question 2, by false rumors. And they are driven, impelli, to crime, ad facinus, and they craft plans, consilium capere, about most important matters, de summis rebus, like matters of most importance, matters that relate to life and death and so forth. If something's false, you don't want someone to kind of go all in and make a decision about something really important based off of a false report. So that is why they shouldn't tell anyone, right? If there's something that's out there, if you're in school and there's a false rumor about someone, don't tell anyone because you don't want someone to be upset by it.
Or be driven to crime. It's kind of
Right.
extreme, huh? Woo.
Stealing lunch money and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so we're gonna finish this section up here, I think. So here are our roganda for this. Number 1, what 2 things do the public officials, magistratus, we get that word again for the magistrates. What 2 things do the magistratus do with these reports and why? So I told you one time before that if you're looking for 2 things, it's good to look for an and we get that quae in there. So that might be helpful to you. And then number 2, what is required for a statement de re publica about the state? So that will take you to that last sentence for the answer to the second one. All right, so 2 sentences or 2 questions. You think they're good? All right, here we go. So the things that these magistratus, the magistrates, do is occultant. They hide or cover up quae visi sunt, the things that seemed, and then we've talked about ellipsis before. This is like an extreme ellipsis. The things that seemed necessary to hide is kind of what's implied by that. Quaeque and produnt, they betray, they reveal multitudini to the public, the things quae judica verunt, that they have judged esse ex usu, to be of use to them. So these magistrates seem pretty tricky, right? They're pretty
Powerful too,
deceptive.
right?
Yeah, they get these rumors and then they either hide them if that's what seems best, or they produnt, they reveal it to the multitude if it seems useful to them. So number 2, what's required for a statement about the state de republica? So non conceditur, it is not granted or allowed loqui, to speak. Nisi per concilium. We had highlighted the answer for you. You might have noticed that we often are so kind that we do that.
Well, 10 seconds is tough, right? 10 seconds.
Exactly. We're asking you guys to think pretty quickly and to look through this Latin pretty quickly. And we know it. We know it. So it's not granted to speak de republica nisi unless per concilium, unless through the council, unless you're in the council. So that's the only time that you're supposed to discuss these matters about the government.
So it's restriction of speech then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And although the Romans didn't have the same kind of freedom of speech that we expect in the modern world, they certainly had more freedom of speech than this. So this would have seemed kind of foreign.
Yeah, and that's what the Bill of Rights, right? Freedom of speech is number 1, right? Isn't it?
Right.
Which
right.
shows how the importance in a free and democratic society. And in Gallic society, you know, they talk about de republica, about the republic. They didn't have a republic for the most part. This is Caesar trying to use words for things that his readers know that might be like not great descriptions about what's going on in Gallic society. But yeah, I mean, from his perspective, right? You can't talk about things unless it's been called by a magistrate. You're in that council, and then maybe even then, the people in charge can restrict what's being said. So not necessarily great.
No. All right, so exerceamus discipuli. We're going to do some practice. So Ben's going to take his screen down, and I'm going to put mine up. And we've got another one of those Pear Deck activities for you that we did a few days ago. So some of you may have remembered this. If not, you're going to catch on really quickly. So you're going to go on a device to joinpd.com. And then you are going to put in these letters, V, Y, Q, V, E, and they give you these ridiculous mnemonics: victorious yards, quiz, victorious elephants. I'm not sure if that actually helps you get the letters V, Y, Q, V, E or not. But we'll give you a few minutes to get logged in. It looks like we've got some people who are able to join. So again, it's VYQVE. And because of our lag, we sometimes just get to sit for a minute and wait. Once we do start the class, then you can still join by going to joinpd.com and typing in this code VYQVE. I have to say, Ben, the scariest moments of our week is, while I'm just waiting.
That number is still 0 students.
Exactly,
connected.
Just waiting. Yeah. 0 students connected. 0 students connected. All right.
And they can join while we're in progress too, right?
Oh, absolutely. So joinpd.com, and the code is up there in the corner for you, VYQVE. So don't worry. All right. So first activity, we're looking back at this passage we did today, and we want you to drag your red dot to the word that tells us that these states administer their government more satisfactorily. There, that was better. So let's see, Ben, I think that
sounds like an adverb to me, right?
Yeah, so I think we got to talk about these IUS words before today. They are showing comparison, right? So when
we had that with fama non. There is no evil. Non aliud nolum aliud malum.
Locius.
Right,
exactly. Exactly. So it looks like most people were able to find that commodious, that IUS word that means more satisfactorily. All right, good job. So we're going to continue looking at this same passage, but now you've got a multiple choice question, so you may have to kind of click on the thing that shows you the options. And so we want the option that's a synonym for existimantur. Which word is a synonym for existimantur?
Ooh, this is tough.
Yeah. So this is a challenging one. I honestly don't think that you're ever going to see anything that maybe is this tricky on a standardized test that you might be taking. But we like to challenge you here at the AP Latin live stream. So that's what we're doing here today. So existimantur means they are thought. Okay. And so it looks like we were kind of, oh, look, the wrong answer is actually winning. Whoa.
I know.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. So they are thought. Notice how that sounds passive. Okay. It's not that they're doing the thinking. So the reason that arbitrantur is actually not the right answer, and you can change your answer. It's okay. We don't even know who said the other one. It's fine.
Fake news, right? No, I got this right. Right.
Oh, good. So the reason arbitrantur is not the right answer here is because it's deponent. Arbitrantur actually means they think, not they are thought. That's why we need the putantur. So good job, those of you who are switching your answers out. Perfect. Well done. Bene factum. All right. So here's another dot one. We've got 3 dots we want you to drag. So the first red dot goes to a word that means anyone. And in this passage, I believe there are 2 words that mean anyone. I didn't realize it until I was piloting this with one of my classes, and they were like, which word that means anyone? And I said, oh my goodness, you're right. So
your kids are smart. That's smart kids.
Yeah, I was impressed because I hadn't noticed it before they noticed it. So drag the red dot to one of the words that means anyone. Drag the blue dot to the word that starts a positive indirect command, and then drag the green dot to the word that starts a negative indirect command. Let's see how everybody is doing. So the two words that mean anyone, one of them we got, the quiz, C quiz, if anyone. The other one we're having trouble with because it's actually the quo, and it looks like just maybe one person has their dot on that quo, but they, lest they, so that they don't communicate, share it with anyone quo else, alio, with anyone other. So if you're not on the quis or the quo, you might want to get there. And then uti is the same thing as ut, introducing that positive indirect command. So that's where your blue dot goes. And I can't even see the uti because of all the blue dots. So that's a good sign. And then the ne we, so it's got that enclitic on it, the way, but it's really just a ne, introducing that negative indirect command. And that was also covered by your green dots. So bene factum discipuli. All right, next one, 2 dots to drag. We want the blue dot to go to the word that means crime, and the red dot to go to the word that means plan. So blue dot to crime, red dot to plan. And so I can barely see Facinus because of all the blue dots. Well done. And I can barely see concilium because of all the red dots. Bene factum iterum. All right, last one for today. Magistratus quae visa sunt. This is that last part of the passage that we were talking about. We want the blue dot to go to the verb that means they hide, and the red dot to go to the verb that means they reveal or they betray. So remember, there were things that they deemed good to hide, and there were other things that they thought they judged judicaverunt to be useful, and so they revealed this. So let's check and see how we're doing. Good job. The blue dot, I can barely see a cultant beneath all those blue dots. And then I see lots and lots of red dots over top of produnt, which means they reveal or they betray. So looks like we did well on learning the lesson for today. Ben, if you want to put the PowerPoint back up, we can wrap things up.
Okay. So for debrief and summary, sometimes we like to give you a question that maybe involves some culture to think about to make this more than just about the passage. So how and why is information restricted today? How is this similar to and different from what the Romans were able to do? So we have here a couple of examples of what was known in Roman times by this great Roman phrase, damnatio memoriae, in some sense, the condemnation of the memory of someone, where the Roman officials would try to eradicate all images of someone that they deemed to be that they deemed that they wanted to erase from history. And so here we have one of the two sons of the Roman Emperor Septimius Severus, right? I got that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you got it.
So we have Caracalla, who's the kid whose face we see, and he has a brother named Geta. So when Septimius died, he left the control of the Roman Empire in the 200s to both of his sons. Caracalla was older though, and he eventually pushed his brother out of control and killed him, and then instituted this damnatio memoriae, where he's eradicating his brother from all records, including monuments and this this little picture here. So we can see, so he scrubbed out his face, which there's still someone there. But this is also the arch of Septimius Severus. And if you look there, the third line from the bottom, you can see that there seems to be some stuff scratched out and written over, and it's a very complicated sort of line. And what you see in the Latin is, so Geta's name was originally there, and you can maybe make it out, and Caracalla replaced it with the phrase optimis fortissimis quae principibus, erasing all records of his brother's name. And this didn't just happen with Geta. This is a coin here of the Praetorian prefect Seianus, who was the guy who was Captain Picard played in I, Claudius way back when. And when he had hair. And you can see after he got out of power, he got deposed. It's actually go watch I, Claudius. It's great, even if it's like in that campy 70s soap opera style.
I heard
and
it's on Netflix right now. It's
Oh,
back
is
on
it?
Netflix. Yeah, that's what I heard. I haven't gone to see it because I've been doing these AP Latin live streams, but maybe this weekend we'll have time.
So go watch when Jean-Luc Picard still had hair. And he suffered that too. So this is a coin, and you can see on the right-hand side where his name is kind of scrubbed out of that coin. So in some ways, control of information. We talked about how the Romans had the kind of an idea of freedom of speech, at least in the Republic, and that gets curtailed a little bit more when you get the Principate and the Empire and one-man rule and everything like that. And we can kind of see a little bit about how that kind of works its way down to people when they fall out of power, trying to erase all sorts of mentions of their name. So, okay, so homework opportunity, it's the weekend. So what better way of spending your weekend than to have a learning opportunity, something to practice a little bit. So here we have two passages, and we've been talking about fama, rumor, all day. And we have on the left, we have a little bit from 620. I don't think this is the whole, this is the entire chapter.
I think it's the whole
thing. It is the whole thing,
That's
yeah.
how generous we are with these kids. We give them the whole thing.
And over here on the right-hand side is a section that might seem familiar to you if you have done book 4 of the Aeneid. This is the famous Fama section, which when I was reading it, I remember a commentary talking about how Baroque the description is, how over the top Virgil's description is of Fama. And it might sound a little similar to the intro that we had today, just maybe to give you a little bit of a head start on that. So we want you to look at this and do kind of like finding evidence. So see if you can find 3 pieces of evidence from each passage to justify why governments would want to manage rumors well. They both kind of talk about that in some ways, and quote the Latin that gives you the answer, and then translate. And remember that the best quotes contain more than 2 words. So similar to what you did for homework last night, find evidence and see what that makes you feel about controlling information and everything like that. So.
And Ben, as an extra challenge, maybe they can challenge themselves to find information from different parts of each passage.
Like beginning, middle, and end?
Yeah, like we had them do yesterday.
Okay.
If you're feeling like you need a challenge.
Sounds good.
All right, so as always, this learning opportunity, your exam practice, closed translations, links for the lesson. We'll even put a link to that Pear Deck exercise if you want to do it over again, if you were having trouble with the vocabulary or anything. We'll put all of that in the resource folder for you. So bit.ly/AP Latin YouTube. Also, as we did last Friday, we would love to get feedback from you guys. So we have another address here that we'll also post on your learning opportunity page for today, where you can send us questions or feedback about anything that happened in the lesson today or this week.
How about some nice words too? You can always say nice things to us.
These kids, we were so honored by what you guys wrote last week. Not only did you give us some great ideas of things to cover more for this week, but you are also incredibly kind. So we appreciate it, and we really are honored to be here with you guys in this crazy time in the world.
No false rumors, only true rumors.
Right? Yes, only true rumors here. All right, so just a reminder that the College Board wants to help everyone who wants to take the AP exam. So if you need internet access, if you need some sort of device, mobile tool, please go to cb.org/tech and fill out the form there so that we can help you out. All right. We really appreciate people who come and watch on Fridays. So thank you so much. We know this is a challenging time on a Friday evening. Next week, we are going to be going back and focusing on some Virgil at the start of the week, and then just getting into some good old review for the AP Latin exam. So come join us 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central.
Okay.
Valete omnes.
Valete omnes.